My flight was canceled back to Florida due to some crazy flooding in Fort Lauderdale, so that means I get to play another live stream here at the lodge. This is my third live stream of the week. I'm feeling pretty comfortable at buying for $2,000 with $10,000 on the side, ready to use if I need it. This is going to be a fun game. Let's get started. We start off the action here in hand number 3 when I'm in the cutoff with pocket 7s. The blinds are at 5, 10, 25. I raised to $75 and now Slicer 3-bets me on the button to $225. I played with Slicer once before in Austin about a year and a half ago. I know that he's definitely capable of putting in some 3-bets here with hands that aren't queens, kings, and aces. Given the fact that the straddle's on and he only has $1,600 in his stack, I decide to just go with my hand and jam all in. He makes a quick fold and we win.
Hockey sticks. This time he goes all in. He'll take down hand number 3 wearing the world famous hat that Jungle Man bought and left here.
Somewhat of a wild play there going all in with pocket 7s, but I've mentioned this before. When I play on live streams, I'm trying to play as high variance, as exciting, as action as possible. I want to try to play big pots, try to make some exciting hands, which is why I went all in there with pocket 7s. If there wasn't a live stream, I would probably just call and go to the flop, but we end up taking that one down. Moving on to the next hand here where we decide to play the nit game. I'm sure all of you guys understand this game by now. If you're the last person to win a hand, you pay $50 out to the table. Well, the first hand in the nit game, I look down at ace-king suited. With $2,000 in my stack, I decide to just jam all in. Because the nit game bounty is $350, the best case scenario is everybody folds, and also a good case scenario is getting called by a worse hand, which I do get. Dat, who's in the big blind, snap calls my all-in with king-jack offsuit. Jason here with ace-queen suited ends up making the fold, and we're all in here over $3,000 in the middle, ace-king versus king-jack, and I end up holding here on an ace-high board, and just like that, on hand number 5, I went over a $3,000 pot. I lose my nit game button, and now I'm up about $2K on the session. Even though I've played numerous live streams over the last 2 years, I still get nervous when I sit down, so it definitely eases off the pressure there when you end up winning a big pot and having a nice little profit to begin with. Well, next hand here, Brian raises in the cutoff. I 3-bet ace-king to $250, and he calls with pocket jacks, heads up in position to a king-high board. He checks over to me, and on this particular board, there's a lot of flush draws he can have. There's some straight draws as well. Worse king X hand, so I decided to go big according to the size of the pot. I make it $400. He folds his pocket jacks, and we take this one down. Alright, moving on to this next hand, and this one gets pretty crazy. It starts off with Dat, who limps for $25. Brian here in the hijack races to $75. I've got pocket 9s in the cutoff. I could go 2 ways here. I could 3-bet, or I could call. Given the fact that I am here in the cutoff, I have more incentive to just call, given the fact that I'll be in position throughout the majority of the hand. If I was earlier in positions here, I would tend to try to 3-bet these pocket 9s. Well, the $25 straddle makes the call, and now Dat puts in a limp re-raise to $425. Back over to Brian, the initial raiser, who folds, and now I'm sitting in a weird spot with pocket 9s. My hand is very strong. It's hard to make a pair in this game, but a limp re-raise is a very strong play with all these people. He could easily have aces, kings, or queens in this situation, but I'm $4,000 effective on a Texas live stream in position. Let's go set mining here with pocket 9s. I make the call. The other player folds, and now we're heads up. I haven't hit too many big hands here in Texas this entire week. I think I've hit one set, maybe a couple decent hands. So I'm looking for a good flop, and a good flop is what we get. Jack 9-3 rainbow. I flop the second nuts. If he's got aces or kings or queens, this could be a huge pot. Dat continues for a $350 bet. I could raise here, but given the fact that I'm holding the second nuts, I don't want to scare him away if he is bluffing with a hand like ace-king, ace-queen, king-queen. I want him to continue to bluff on the turn, so I make the call for $350, and we see the king of diamonds on the 4th card. I do like this card because it can improve ace-king to top pair, king-queen to top pair. It could be a scare card for pocket queens though, and if he does have pocket kings, he just now made a bigger set than us. Remember, he limp re-raised pre-flop, so when Dat continues for a $575 bet, I'm actually not really sure what to do in this situation. He's got $2,600 behind. If I jam all in here, it's going to look extremely strong. Would he call us with a worse hand? If I go all in, would he call with king-queen, ace-king? It's possible. If he is bluffing, I want to allow him to keep bluffing on the river. If he's got a hand like ace-queen, ace-10, or maybe a flush draw, he probably only has about 20 or 15% to win the hand. So I really go back and forth whether I want to jam here or call to keep his bluffs in. I feel like the best play in this situation against this player type is just to call, keep his value bets in there, and also keep his bluffs in there as well. So I put in $575. We've got a huge pot brewing here, $2,800 in the middle, and we are going to the final card.
An 8? There's the 8 from space!
8 of clubs. See, Dat now moves around in his chair, says, I can't believe what just fell. Rip it all in, fella. No checking this. Rip it all in, get paid. We're going all in here, right?
Remember,
There's no other option, but there it is. All in. Wow. Snap.
You got the nut?
Dad said you have the nut. Remember, he had the low straight earlier in the show. He a little gun shy there, but he's going to wind up with all of it, doubling up through Lexo.
Biggest hand of the afternoon, evening so far, 8,100. Lexo snaps it off. You can't blame him.
Poker Stars deck or what?
You know when you have that gross feeling in your stomach and your mouth starts watering a little bit right before you vomit? Well, that's how I feel right now. Nauseous to my stomach. I flop a set in a 3-bet pot versus a maniac, and he gets there on the river with a straight, and I basically get stacked in this hand, losing over an $8,000 pot. This one hurt pretty bad. I was hoping to win a big one here. I felt like I was way ahead. That 8 of clubs shouldn't change anything at all, given the fact that I never put him on a hand like 10-7 suited, but you win some in poker, you lose some in poker. I decide to buy in here for another $3,000 and get back at it. No straddle in this hand, and Brian limps for $10. I'm stuck $2,000 and on tilt now, so let's play a bigger pot and make it $75. Back over here to the kid in the small blind who 3-bets me to $225. A pretty small 3-bet here out of position. I call with my suited ace, and we go heads up to a king 5-5 2-spade board. I flop the nut flush draw. He continues for 200, and I make the call. Turn guard jack, now giving me more outs, and he continues for a $750 bet. I've got around $2,400 in my stack. With a big draw here, I could call, but what happens if I miss the river? I could jam here and hopefully get him to fold hands like ace-10, ace-queen. Maybe king-queen makes a fold as well, or ace-jack. I go back and forth of what I want to do here. I can definitely have some 5s in my range. However, this board should favor his 3-bet range more than me, but I decide to just go for it. I jam all in, trying to put him in a tough spot with a single pair hand, but as you can see, he has ace-10. We get him to fold a chop, and we take down a small one here, getting a little bit back from that nasty beat 1 hand ago. Poker is a very sick game. If you play it a lot, you kind of have to have short-term memory loss. You can't let bad beats, bad plays, or bad run affect you in the future. I'm trying to forget about that pocket 9s hand, but I keep thinking about it over and over again. Did I misplay the hand? Should I have raised a flop with a set? Should I have shoved on the turn? Honestly, I don't really know. I feel like the way I played it is fine, allowing him to continue to bluff, but results-oriented, I wish I would have just raised or just shoved the turn. Oh well, gotta try to move on to this next hand where we are playing the nit game again, and now I look down at Jack-9 suited on the button. There's only 3 more people in the nit game. If I lose here, I have to pay $50 out to the entire table. There's a $50 straddle on it, folds to me. I have Jack-9 suited. I raise it up to $150, and the straddler makes the call. We go heads up here to a flop, which comes out very good for Jack-9 of spades. 10 high with a 9 and 2 spades. So I flop a pair and a flush draw in the nit game. I decide to continue for a $200 bet, and my opponent makes the call. Turn card 4 of diamonds. A very big brick. My opponent's got $1,200. The pot's around $750. The nit game is on. I decide to apply max pressure and jam all in here, and he makes a pretty quick call with second pair queen kicker, which is exactly the kind of hand I was targeting him to hopefully try to fold. But this is the nit game. This is Texas, and this is a live stream, so folding is just out of the question. If this wasn't the nit game, I would just be checking back my pair. But given the fact that the nit game is on, I got to try to apply max pressure. Let's hit a spade or a jack. Nope, we missed the first run out, and we missed the second run out, and I lose over a $3,000 pot here, and unfortunately, I also lose the nit game as well, so that's $50 to each player, but you can't say I didn't try. Things are just starting off not going my way. I had a set lose to a gut shot straight on the river, and then now when I was behind with a flush draw and a pair, I couldn't get there over 2 runouts. Well, I get up, I head over to my extra chips, and I buy in for another $6,000. Now I'm in the game for $12K, and I'm sitting on around an $8,500 stack. Just a quick announcement for some of you Floridians or anyone around the area. I will be playing at the brand new Moneymaker Tour, which is going to come to Palm Beach Kennel Club starting May 10th. They're starting off with a $500 buy-in, $250,000 guaranteed tournament. I'll be there firing some bullets. Hope to see you guys there as well. Alright, it's about time something goes my way on this stream. I raise queen jack offsuit in the hijack. I get 2 callers and flop top pair. I bet $200 and get 1 call from the under the gun player. The turn card pairs the board, which is much better for his calling range on the flop, so I decide to check back here, and the river card gives me a full house. Full house over full house. He checks over to me, $800 in the middle here, and I go back and forth whether I want to bet 2/3 pot or over bet the size of the pot. I feel like it's kind of close here. If he does have a pocket pair, he may call. If he has a 6, he'll probably call a very large bet. I think about putting out $2,000, but end on settling here for $575, which ends up getting called by 6s full of jacks. I win here with jacks full of 6s, and I finally take down a decent pot. For some reason during this session, I find myself winning a lot of hands when the nit game's not on, and then when the nit buttons are out, I just can't find a hand to win. As you can see, only 3 players left with their nit buttons here, and there's a button open to $175 with queen jack offsuit versus a button open. He should have a wider range of hands, so I decide to 3-bet bluff here with queen jack. Given the fact that I block some strong hands he could possibly have, I make it $700 and the button makes the call. I get a nasty flop of 10-6-7 with 2 diamonds. I decide not to c-bet on this board. He puts out a bet, and I'm just forced to fold my queen high here. 2 hands later, I'm now heads up in the nit game against Dat. The loser has to pay out the table $50. Dat actually folds this hand, which is great news for me. When the cutoff opens here to $75, I elect to call with the 5 deuce suited, trying to win a pot. I am on the button. I have position. Slicer calls as well. We go 3 ways to 4-4-3 rainbow. In all honesty, a pretty great flop for 5 deuce suited. I flop an open-ended straight draw. I have an overcard to the 3. When the action checks to me, I feel like I could definitely steal this pot with a bet, so I make it $150. The small blind folds, and now the action's back over here on Skull Mike.
Forgot what I had. That is good for me. That was honest.
If Mike makes the fold here, we win the pot, but better yet than that, we do lose our nit button and we don't have to pay out another nit tax. I've paid $700 worth of nit tax so far. Mike comes along with a call and I put him on some ace high or king high hands, maybe gut shot straight draws, so when the turn's a 3 of hearts, it's a really good card for me. I now have an open-ended straight flush draw as well. He checks again, and I'm going to keep betting here, try to get him to fold out his king-high hands, his gut shot straight draws, his hands with equity. I make it $200.
Forgot what I had.
Those Modelos are hitting, huh?
Mike puts in a little speech play here that he keeps forgetting what he has. When he makes a call here for $200, I put him on ace high, so we might have to bluff big on this river, or we could get there with a straight. 6 of clubs on the river gives us a straight in the Nick game. Finally, something's going my way.
Forget what I had.
Great shot of the two guys that look very much alike.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Nick game really adds some extra levels to this game. Now, Mike knows I'm trying to win this pot to get rid of my nit button. I don't want to pay the nit tax 3 times in a row, and I'm going to use that to my advantage here and overbet the size of the pot. $1,300 here into a $970 pot. I'm hoping for a hero call from maybe a pocket pair, possibly an ace-high hand. When I bet this big on the river, I'm basically saying I have a 4, maybe a 3, or a straight. Now, there's not many straights I can have, basically 5, 7. It's pretty hard to flop trips in this game. I wouldn't be betting a single pair for this sizing either. Mike goes into the tank for a while on a double paired board in the Nick game on a Texas live stream. Ace high can definitely be good, and eventually he decides to put in the call. 5 deuce of hearts takes this one down. We win a pretty big pot here. We get rid of our nit button, and the chips are going in our direction.
6 wins.
Thank
Suited for it.
God. Oh, gee.
I tried that. I tried. Know
Jeez.
that.
Thank you.
Know that.
My gosh.
I'd like to see a...
And Lexo gets rid of his nit button, and Dat pays the tax of $50 per.
Moving along, we have a little blind versus blind battle. I finally looked down at jacks here in the big blind. I haven't really picked up too many pocket pairs this session. I make it $150 and Slicer comes along with a call in the straddle. Heads up out of position to a queen high board, 2 spades. I continue for a $100 bet and Slicer makes the call. Turn card 6. There's an overcard to my pair. I slow down and check. And now Slicer bets $150. This sizing makes me feel like he doesn't have too strong of a hand. If he had 2 pair, a set, or a big flush draw or straight draw, I feel like he'd be betting bigger here on the turn. This sizing makes me feel like he either has a 9x hand or a 6x hand that he's trying to get thin value out of me and then check back the river. So I decided to go with a check raise here to $500. This is a very thin raise. I mean, it is possible he could be betting smaller with a weaker queen, like queen 3 suited, queen 5 suited, and then I would just be value owning myself here with pocket jacks, but I go with my gut, and my gut is saying he has a 9x hand or a 6x hand. I raise for value, and he makes the call. River card, I feel like, is very good for my hand. It's the queen of hearts. If he somehow had a weird 2 pair, like 9-3 or 6-3, he's now counterfeit. Also, it's less likely now that he has a queen X hand given the fact that there's another one out there on the board. I decided to go with a $700 bet on this river, and I actually think a bigger bet would be good here. I just go half pot, I think maybe even overbetting this river to try to get looked up by a 9 or a 6 would be better. Slicer is too good to pay me off here. He decides to fold, and we take this one down. The stream is now coming to a close, and these people in Texas are obsessed with their nit games. As you can see, the $50 straddle's on, the $100 straddle's on, and I put on the $200 straddle with Slicer putting on the $400 straddle. So the blinds are 5, 10, 25, 50, 100, 200, 400. The action starts under the gun, which is actually the button, and folds all the way back over here to Skull Mike, who's in the $100 straddle. He sees all this dead money in the pot, and he wants to make a move with his stack, but he decides to fold.
Really? I haven't gotten aces all week.
All week.
What a net. Gee. What a net.
Lexo with ace queen suited.
Last time he
Well, it's not aces, but it's pretty damn close. Ace queen suited in the $200 straddle with the 400 on. I'm only 20 big blinds effective with Slicer. I raise it up to $1,200.
Punish him.
Fuck.
I didn't do that.
Lexo will take down
Howdy.
that money.
No flop. Come on.
Shaboy Berries, thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say.
Wow.
Like so, would have flopped the nuts there.
I don't care. I lost my net button.
Some luck for me on this stream. We lose our knit button. We take this one down with ace high, and I have finally made myself back to even. I'm actually up around $500. So at one point I was down thousands of dollars, losing with a set, losing the knit game, losing with all sorts of hands, but now I've clawed all the way back to even, and I'm actually profiting on this session. Well, the last hand of the night here, I've got King 10 of diamonds. I raised to $75. I get 3-bet here by the cutoff to $225. I make the call and we go heads up to a queen high board. With 1 diamond on the flop when he continues for a smaller sizing, I decide to float out of position here. I've got some back doors. Also, maybe I can turn my hand into a bluff later on. If he's got jacks or 10s or ace king or ace jack, I could try to bluff him off that hand. I don't want to just give up after 1 bet on the flop. Well, the turn gives me top pair, which is great. I check, and he continues for a $750 sizing. A little bit worrisome now that I could be beat by aces, ace-king, pocket queens, king-queen. But if we remember back in the beginning of the video, this particular opponent 3-bet me pre-flop, bet the flop, and then continued on the turn with a bluff. So he's definitely capable of double barreling here. So I make the call with top pair. Going to the river, which is the jack of clubs. I check. He checks back with aces and wins this one. And we end up losing our profit. And now I'm down just a little bit. Well, the stream ends up coming to a close. My 3rd stream here in Austin, Texas for the week. And after about 5 hours of playing, I end up racking up my chips, heading to the cage, and cashing out for the night. My final day here in Round Rock, Texas. I have been here now for 6 full days, 2 days longer than I expected. I was supposed to fly back a couple of days ago, but my flight got canceled. Got to stay 2 more days. Yesterday played the live stream 5, 10, 20. Things went well in the beginning. Ace, king to king, jack. Ended up winning like a $4,000 pot there. And then things took a dramatic turn for the worse when I flopped a set of 9s in a 3-bet pot. My opponent bet the flop, bet the turn, and then got there on the river with a straight. He only had like 4 or 5 outs. We lost like an $8,100 pot there. That was a bad beat. That was run bad. That was pretty unfortunate. I was down like $2,500 at that point, but then I just clawed my way back, made some hands, made a straight, got some plays through, and ended up only losing $115 on the day. So I would say that is a win. Not too bad after playing 5 hours and being down a lot of money. I will say though, I played 3 live streams here in Texas, 15 total hours of live streams, and I felt like I was really card dead the entire time. I never picked up a run of cards where like you get a pocket pair, then you flop 2 pair, then you make a set and a straight. I just could never really do that. I never got aces, I never got kings, I never got queens or pocket 10s for all 15 hours of playing on the live stream. No aces, kings, queens, or 10s for 15 hours. You know, that's it's kind of unfortunate, kind of card deadness, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing here at the lodge. I like this area. Round Rock is awesome. The staff here is awesome. The live stream is great. I really enjoy it here, but I'm excited to get home. I'm going to be flying back to Miami. My car's parked at Fort Lauderdale Airport. Got to go back there. Then I got to get my dog, and then eventually I'll be able to relax tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed these 5 Texas videos. We're going to be back in Florida for a little bit, and then we're going to be out in Vegas, maybe LA, playing on Hustler live stream. Should be a lot of fun. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, I'll see you.